Welcome back, everybody, to Elden Ring Lore, and this should be our final stream to complete everything. When last we left off, we had completely gone through the entirety of the Halig Tree, and we left just one thing undone, and that is the final boss there.
Greeting, are you here for spirit?
Okay, Roderica has nothing new to say. Good to see. Hugh has nothing new to say, but before we do go there, I think that we can tell Gideon about the Halig Tree, and he'll be like, "Oh, thank you for the info."
So the secret medallions led you to the land of the Halig Tree. I'd expect to find Melina there. She who fought Radahn to a standstill. Well, if the Scarlet Rot hasn't eaten her away completely. But with the Halig Tree as it is, I suppose Mikola must already be. My apologies. Lost myself for a moment there. The information you shared is of great value. As promised, your reward. A secret rite, known only to me. You are a true fellow. All I ask is that you remain constant.
Black Flame's protection. Summon Black Fire within, increasing your physical damage negation. However, Sacred Flasks and other such forms of HP restoration are impaired. The Apostles were all embraced by the Glow-Eyed Queen, and the Black Flame was their armor within. That's why they're so tough. Man, where'd you find this, Gideon? It's pretty useful.
There are 4 more.
Yeah, there are 4 more demigod, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so we got that as a prize for telling him about using the secret medallions to get to the Halig Tree. Now that Gideon has been sated, it is time for us to go to the roots of the Halig Tree and finish this. Also, as for what he said there when he trailed off before that, where he said, "Then that must mean Mikola's already." He's basically surmising that Mikola was the one propping up the Halig Tree and keeping it prosperous and working, but Mikola, now being either gone and or dead, has caused the Halig Tree to fall from splendor down to what it is now, where it is beginning to fail, rot from the inside and stuff. It's a combination of Mikola being gone and Melina being here. At least I would say so. Alright, let's put on our Sunday finest and go say hi to the girl waiting in the tree. And of course, we're going to use our wedding sword for this fight. I mean, what else would we use? This is like one of the very few cutscenes that will not be full screened by me. I'm sorry, everyone, but fight starts the instant this cutscene is done. But let's watch together. The roots of the Halig Tree. How beautiful. Red hair. One arm.
I dreamt for so long. My flesh was dull gold, and my blood rotted. Corpse after corpse left in my wake. As I awaited his return. Heed my words. I am Melina, Blade of Mikola. and I have never known defeat.
She does not waste time either with the fight. Get iced. I am Thor W, spouse of Ronnie. And I am very sad right now. Ow. Luckily, we lived, bitch. That is Waterfowl Dance, her most dangerous move. And the only thing that really makes this a fight, if I'm being perfectly honest. One of only 2 moves she has that is truly devastating. Ow. She also heals when she hits, which does also make things slightly more difficult. She can do Waterfowl Dance more than once, so I'm a little apprehensive on going in. Eat that. Fall. Phase 1 done. Never known defeat my ass. We got her. Easiest fight of my life.
Wait.
Hey, don't do that. That's what fucked Caelid last time. You don't want to fuck this place up too, do you?
The scarlet bloom flowers once more. You will witness true horror.
She's not lying either.
Now, rot.
Melina, Goddess of Rot, her name changed. I love that attention to detail. She is no longer the Blade of Mikola. Follow-up. She didn't do the follow-up. And now when she slams her weapon down... Oh no. I may be dead. Yep. Yep.
By the scarlet rot.
She is not supposed to do that quickly in phase 2. Not much I could have done there other than be really annoyed. What a fun attack that is. What a fun attack. She's not supposed to do that until she's lower health. So that was unexpected. Well, do it again, but better. This is again, but worse so far. Also, I keep forgetting to change this. 1 second, ma'am. Thank you. Here, hold this. Here, hold another one. Alright, I guarantee after this shit, she's waterfowling. Go on. Do it. Go ahead. I know already. I know how this fight works. For the most part. Sit. All right. Let's try this again. My ice. There we go. By the way, Melinia's pretty susceptible to ice. So this is a fine weapon to fight her with. Shadow Clone Jutsu! Or I'm sorry, Rock Clone Jutsu. Fucking damn, dude. I messed up one roll and I died. I mess up one roll and I die. Late game Elden Ring. That's her other dangerous move. She has those two. Waterfowl and Shadow Clone, or Rock Clone Jutsu. Without those, this fight is actually pretty easy, in my opinion. But that's because I've fought her 7 billion times by now, including at rune level 1 and whatnot. This should have been a one and done with my experience in this fight. But, as always, Melina, Blade of Mikola, is a cheater, so, you know. Here, have another. I know you want a waterfowl dance now, ma'am. Go ahead. Hop up in the air. I know what you want to do. Do it. There it is. Go that way. Ooh. We traded. Hold this. Kaboom. Yep. Here, hold this. Why doesn't she want to hold this? Hold it! Shadow Clone Jutsu! Uh-oh. Fucking goddamn it.
By the scarlet.
I hate that attack so much. If you get clipped by anything a single time, you basically die. And there's little to nothing you can do about it, because the other attacks follow up on the previous one. I wish I didn't suck so much at this game, because then I would have lived by not taking that first hit. How'd we both miss each other? That was just embarrassing for both sides. Some master swordsmen we are. Get iced. Oh, you did the stupid follow-up that you never do. Hold this. She wouldn't have been that aggressive if I didn't heal right away. She would have just stood there and let me do whatever I wanted if I didn't hit the heal button. Okay, can I stop being a moron for a second and just win phase 1 because it's easy? She's dancing. Hold that. She didn't hold it. Here, hold it this time. There we go. Stop cheating, you. Seriously. Again, seriously, stop cheating. She activated her infinite poise move the second that I hit an attack button. Howdy, Weinard. Oh, I don't got time to raise my sword and my vow yet. Damn it. Stop input reading. I know I was holding the backwards direction. I'm sorry. I understand I'm not allowed to hold the direction away from the boss. It was a temporary mistake. Put it in her butt, where it belongs. Rot time. The Aeonian flower blooms once more. Oh, come on, did you have to? Okay.
Let your flesh be consumed by the scarlet rot.
I held backwards like a fucking idiot. Stop holding backwards. When you hold backwards, the enemy will turn their AI aggression up to 7 million. You idiot. How dare you try to get away from the boss so that you can heal? You dumb motherfucker. You stupid, stupid person. Do you have a brain in your fucking skull? Don't ever, ever hold backwards away from the boss. Ever! There it is. Ooh, she turned her infinite poise attack on. Come here. No, you do not get that other waterfowl dance off. You're not allowed to. There, hold that. Here, have another. And another. You seem to really like them. Here, have a fourth. And a fifth. Oh god, here they come. Fuck that attack so fucking much. You waterfowled into that. You just did your 2 OP attacks back to back. Ah, got too much armor on him. Too slow to run away from her because of it. That's why I'm not getting there. That's why I'm not getting far enough away. I hate this 2 attacks because they're like all that makes the fight into how hard it is. Well, that and I guess the heavy input reading. Alright, now get the fuck up and waterfowl dance me, bitch. Do it. You're gonna keep eating these until you waterfowl dance, thank you. I am too close. There we go. Yeah, that was stupid of me. That was 8 million degrees of stupid. I'm holding back now. Look how aggressive she is when you hold back. Alright, come here now. Okay. You know what? Kill me. I'm starting again.
I am Melina, Blade of Mikola.
I just did the stupidest shit 8 times in a row, so screw it. Let's do it again. It takes 2 seconds to get her to the end of phase 1. I apologize that this took more than one attempt. I suck, and I should not ever stream again. That's how I feel losing to this fucking piece of shit boss. Ma'am, if you could stop the input reading for 2 seconds, that'd be cool. I'll take that trade. No follow-up? No! Good input, read, punish. Before I even started. Good frame 1 input, punish. Camera went a little crazy there for a sec. Okay, let's try this slightly different. Nope. Nope. I don't know how to dodge it that way. The only way I know how to dodge it is run as far away as possible. This should have been done on my first attempt, but I keep dying to the rock clones, like the foolish piece of garbage I am. I'm used to dodging it with no weight. Now that I have weight and we're slower moving, it's different. Here, have another. You are technically at low enough health to waterfowl dance now. Go ahead. Go ahead, I know you want to. Go ahead. Go on, sweetie. You hop up into the air and you swing your sword 23 times. There you go. That number is not an exaggeration either. It is 23 hits if you were to get hit by all hits of the waterfowl dance. 23. It's quite a few. That is why it kills through anything, basically. I am Melina, input reader of Mikola. And I cheat all the time. Huh. I didn't know that would hit her in the air. Neat. Yeah, that's some frame 1 input reading nonsense there. Want my ice back on my sword. Waterfowl? Waterfowl, Shadow Clones? What was that early roll by me? Foot? You weren't supposed to be able to foot like that. Come here. Oh, no. See, that's how you dodge it. You just gotta get far enough away, and it's very easy. Oh, hey. Thank you. Another flower? Melina is really blooming on the battlefield right now, huh? Die!
Strength.
Finally!
Extraordinary.
I finally played it safe enough to stay away.
The mark of a true lord.
I repeat, I'm sorry that took more than one. That should have been a one and done. I know she's the hardest boss, but that's a one and done for me.
Dear Mikola.
It's been too long, I guess.
Oh, dearest Mikola. My brother.
My apologies, everybody.
I'm sorry. I finally met my match.
We did it. Very telling that her final words are an apology to her brother for losing. She seemed to, quite frankly, adore him. Remembrance of Melina, goddess of rot. The power of its namesake can be unlocked by a finger reader. Mikola and Melina are both the children of a single god. As such, they are both Empyreans, but suffered afflictions from birth. One was cursed with eternal childhood, and the other harbored rot within. So this is the thing that tells me that at least in my mind, that Radagon and Marika were technically always one entity, even if they had separate bodies at one point in time. Like, Marika might have made a separate body for Radagon to work with before reabsorbing him into her own. But it says right here, they're both children of a single god. That is very much the line that I find most important there. But this is also supposed to be something similar to, like, blue blood nobility incest causing birth defects, as in Marika reproduced with herself, technically, and thus the children suffered these afflictions. But if anything, rather than suffering afflictions, they were kind of blessed by other gods. Just, they were considered afflictions because they have their disadvantages. After all, being a goddess of rot means wherever you go, rot follows. Your body is racked with rot at all times, and until you, I guess, die and embrace the rot properly like she did, it probably greatly debilitated her. Then, once you do accept that kind of thing and allow the rot to bloom in full force, well, we saw Kaled. It's kind of a very destructive, horrifying power, so it can be considered an affliction. As for being cursed with eternal childhood, that can also be seen as a good thing or a bad thing, depending on how you look at it. So, they were both blessed/cursed. They were blessed from birth. We got her. That really should have been a one and done. I apologize for being salty about it as well, but this fight makes me salty because there are 2 attacks, and outside of those 2 attacks, there are no other attacks. Oh wait, there's one more attack. There's Waterfowl Dance, there's Rock Clone no Jutsu, and then finally there is the Drink Punish, which is you go to drink, and the frame that you press that, she does her very long-range thrust attack from about here to the Grace. That kind of range. The Drink Punish. That is her 3rd attack. Those are her 3 attacks. Everything else does not really cause trouble. Oh, God! I'm sorry, I have to mute that for the VOD. Thank you for 69 bucks. We will play that a little bit later. I promise, Turbo Baka. We'll play that again later. That song is Pomp and Circumstance by the Vocaloids, for anyone that's wondering. Anyway, hey, we can return the unalloyed gold needle. Remember that? We got it from Millicent? Removed by Millicent from her flesh, it bears no trace of befouled blood, but is faintly moist with dew. There's something I must return to Melina, the dignity, the sense of self, that allowed her to resist the call of the Scarlet Rot. So, we can return the unalloyed gold needle, and we get Miquella's needle and a somber ancient dragon smithing stone. If you hunt down Millicent, instead of returning or helping her out, and you don't get the unalloyed gold needle, you will instead get the talisman I told you about before that raises dex by 5 and increases damage on subsequent attacks, which is quite good on fast attacking things. But it's much more interesting for lore if we get Miquella's needle. One of the unalloyed gold needles that Miquella crafted to ward away the meddling of outer gods, capable of subduing the flame of frenzy if inherited, allowing one to cheat fate and avoid becoming Lord of Frenzied Flame. However, the needle is as yet unfinished and can only be used in the heart of the storm beyond times and to be found in Farum Azula. So that's right. You can undo the Frenzied Flame. Get rid of the meddling of outer gods indeed. Again, I apologize for that fight. It's been a while since I've played Elden Ring before this playthrough, if I'm being perfectly honest with you guys. So I'm shaking off some rust, you know, excuse. But really, the real answer is I'm just bad. Hey, Gideon. I beat up Melina. How you doing?
So, the Halig tree, now but a husk. I heard speculation Miquella embedded himself in the Halig tree. But before he could finish, someone cut the tree open and absconded with his infant form. Indeed, it seems those words held weight. How vexing that the All-Knowing didn't have the full story. Perhaps the Queen's sorrow was justified. Ah, my apologies. Lost myself for a moment there. The information you shared is of great value. As promised, your reward.
My reward!
A secret right, known only to me. You are a true fellow. All I ask is that you remain constant.
Lord's Divine Fortification. I believe that's the last thing we can get from Gideon. By giving him secret information. Let's see. Is that... There we go. Incantation taught to Gideon the All-Knowing by the Two Fingers. Greatly increases holy damage negation for the caster and nearby allies. Hold to continue praying and delay activation. Gideon gained true knowledge after his long exchange with the Two Fingers, discovering all had been broken long ago, that the trembling fingers bent with age and the Erd tree itself were no exception. So this is interesting to me, This tells me that the information Gideon gleaned from trying to converse with the Two Fingers was that the shattering happened an extremely long time ago. That the fingers themselves were already starting to waste away with age. The Erd Tree itself is clearly on its way out, hence why all the golden seeds have been flown all over the place. And that nothing is meant to be truly eternal, and that ages will come and go. And the age of the Two Fingers, the age of the Greater Will, the age of the Erd Tree is on its way out. And the only thing that could possibly keep them going is a dogged determination to prevent anything from ending them, much like what Morgott pulled off for an extended period of time. The only reason that the Golden Order, the age of the Golden Order, hasn't ended for however long the shattering has gone on, especially once things kind of settled down and stagnated, gods stopped fighting with each other, everything was already thrown into dilapidation and stuff, and that's been going on for probably quite some time. Especially with that going on, the whole reason that the Golden Order didn't just get ended is because Morgott was holding the fort down as best he could. Without Morgott, somebody would have succeeded. There were several people, including especially Vike, who had made their way and gotten to Leyndell. But they couldn't enter into the Erd Tree. They couldn't properly access the end of everything due to Morgott and the fact that the Erd Tree itself has a bunch of thorns preventing people from entering. So technically not just Morgott, Morgott plus one. But still, Morgott was a big, big, big reason why a bunch of people did not succeed. Remember the description that he had slain many, many, many champions over his years.
Well.
And notice, when we say, what is it now? Gideon has nothing else to say to us because we've done everything that we could do with Gideon. All that's left for us to do is try to approach the throne of the Elden Lord. You know, burn the Erd Tree, all that stuff. But first, behold, Melinia's winged helm. Winged helm made of unalloyed gold, worn by Melina, blade of Miquella. Melina awaited Miquella at the foot of the husk. My brother will keep his promise. He possesses the wisdom, the allure of a god. He is the most fearsome Empyrean of all. Melinia's armor also says the same thing. Armor of unalloyed gold, gauntlets made of unalloyed gold, and greaves made of unalloyed gold. So she's decked out entirely in unalloyed gold in order to do... That was Miquella's way of trying to prevent the rot from spreading, trying to prevent anything from overtaking his sister. Little did he know, she already let it bloom fully at least once while he was slumbering. And once that happened, there's no real holding the rot back for good. Temporarily, sure, but when push comes to shove, she becomes the goddess of rot, and there's nothing that will change that, because it's happened once already. What's this other set? Oh, the Royal Knight Helm. Silver Helm of Loretta, a knight who served Miquella's Haligtree. Loretta, once a royal Carian knight, went on a journey in search of a haven for Albanorex, and determined that the Haligtree was their best chance for the eventual salvation. And as for what Melinia's wonderful remembrance things are, we've got the Hand of Melina, a blade that was built into Melinia's prosthetic arm. Notice, it's just a blade. It even has the little connector that's supposed to go inside of a hilt. But the way her prosthetic arm worked was she just had the blade attached to the outside of the prosthetic arm, and the prosthetic arm itself was basically an extension of the blade. A literal extension of her own arm, as a blade is supposed to be. Taps forehead. Through consecration, it is resistant to rot. Melinia's war prosthesis symbolized her victories. Some claim to have seen wings when the weapon was raised aloft. Wings of fierce determination that have never known defeat. And it gives you the unique skill Waterfowl Dance. That's right. The attack that has slain people 10 million billion zillion times. Perform a series of one-footed leaps into a manner of a waterfowl to unleash a swift yet graceful slashing combo. Repeated inputs allows for up to 2 follow-up attacks. And the other thing is the Scarlet Aeonia, technique of Melina, the goddess of rot. Creates a gigantic flower that blooms into an explosion of scarlet rot. Each time the scarlet flower blooms, Melinia's rot advances. It has bloomed twice already. With the 3rd bloom, she will become a true goddess. But we beat her up even though she did become a true goddess. Go us. So let's go over Melania's story. That's right, Melania does have some story. Beyond just being incredibly powerful and annoying. So, she was the daughter of Marika and Radagon, twin sister of Mikola, born cursed by rot. Specifically, though, the Japanese text doesn't say that they were born cursed, but they were born vulnerable. I think that's a pretty important distinction. That's the word that they use, is vulnerable, right? The reason that's important to me is because that says, in my expert estimation, they were born vulnerable to the influence of outer gods. Vulnerable to the outer gods of rot, and the outer god for Melania, and the outer god of youth for Mikola, to forcibly turn them into vessels for their own influence and power. Much like how Marika gained power and ability and whatnot through the greater will and accepted that, the same thing happened to Melania and Mikola, only it was without consent. So Melania was forced to become an avatar of rot. Mikola was forced to become an avatar of youth. And that's why that word vulnerable is important to me, because I think that that gives us a little bit more meaning there, a little bit more accuracy. Anyway, Melania was likely mentored by a blind swordsman wielding a flowing blade who had sealed away a god of rot. Let's take a quick peek at the prosthesis emblem. Oh wait, do I have the prosthesis emblem? I don't know if I do. Because I might have given that away or something. Prosthesis, wearer, heirloom. Could have sworn I had that. Oh, right, it's one of these. Sorry. A talisman engraved with a scene from a heroic tale. It raises your dex. Though born into the accursed rot, when the young girl encountered her mentor and his flowing blade, she gained wings of unparalleled strength. On top of that, we've got the Blue Dancer Charm, which represents a fairy who in legend bestowed a flowing sword upon a blind swordsman. Blade in hand, the swordsman sealed away an ancient god, a god that was rot itself. And finally, the flowing sword, which says, legends speak of a master of the sword garbed in blue, and his curved blade that was patterned after flowing water. Strong attacks unleash a series of strikes akin to a dance, offering a glimpse into the legend. This should be the weapon of the master who taught Melania swordsmanship. On top of that, it says that he was a blind swordsman. Reminder that when we saw Melania, and she was, and her eyes were uncovered. You saw that her eyes had grotesque rot skin coated over them. Melina herself also is blinded by the rot that ravaged her body. On top of that, the blind swordsman probably had some empathy for the young girl because he should know more than anyone how devastating rot can be from his confrontation with the previous god of rot. So he took her under his wing, taught her swordsmanship, and Melina proved to be a prodigy, became a powerful and undefeated swordsman. When the shattering eventually occurred, Melina didn't vie for power for herself, but rather she was ambitious enough to try and prop up her twin brother Mikola on the throne. She believed Mikola to be the most qualified person to become ruler. She fought in his stead, along with her clean-rot knights. She faced down the likes of Godric, who got pathetically destroyed, and then eventually Radahn and his Red Mane Knight army at Aeonia. A fierce battle occurred with neither side giving ground, but when push came to shove and Melina could not hold back the rot anymore, she eventually stabbed her sword through herself into Radahn so that she could give the best connection possible as she let go and let the rot burst forth from her body in a blooming flower. That rot explosion not only caused irreparable damage to the entire area of Caelid, but it basically killed Radahn. While it didn't completely kill him or anything, he was driven completely mad by the rot racking his body, and was a shadow of his former self. He was no longer in contention for becoming a lord. Melina had defeated the most powerful of all the demigods. Not through her own power, though, but through letting go and allowing the god of rot's power to flow through her. After that, Melina fell into a coma and had slumbered for a long period of time and had to be carried all the way back to the Halig Tree by one clean-rot knight, Finlay, who in an unimaginable act of heroism carried the slumbering demigod all the way to the Halig Tree alone, managing to defeat all manner of foe along the way. So clean-rot knight Finlay was a real one, apparently. Big props to her. Now, before we go too far, let me teleport us back to the foot of the Halig Tree, where we defeated Melina, because I want to show the flower itself just a little bit. The flower of Aeonia, for those wondering, is modeled after a real-life flower that does exist. It is modeled after a lotus flower. It is very similar to a blooming lotus flower. And for those that don't know, lotus flowers bloom from the mud, or in this case, the rot, showing off beautiful, pure petals, but they last for a fleeting short period of time before their bloom ends. They're seen as symbols of strength and rebirth commonly across different cultures that give symbolism and meaning to the lotus flower, including the likes of Japan, India, etc. So I believe that those are some extra themes that are supposed to go alongside of Melina, and rot in general, is that the bloom of it comes from the most disgusting of places, but comes with the most beautiful of petals for a short fleeting moment. And again, also, the adherents and followers of rot see this as a symbol of rebirth. They see rot and the age of rot to be an age of rebirth and whatnot, which is, once more, a symbol that can be used with the lotus flower. So it's all kind of put together as interesting symbolism when you get right down to it. Very cool, very cool. There was I hate fighting Melina. I really do. But there's a lot of really interesting lore behind her, and a lot of really cool stuff that the game puts out in the background of the story of Melina and the Rot and little hints of Mikola. We don't get a lot about Mikola, but that's because the DLC is definitely going to be heavily Mikola focused. So, despite my detesting of this fight, I just don't like a lot of late game Elden Ring fights, if I'm being honest. They usually have one or two things that take an otherwise great fight and just kind of ruin it. Like, if you recall, when we fought Moog, I was like, man, this fight would be great if he didn't just piss flames all over the place that make you bleed with every swing of his trident. If it was only when he threw that stuff, that'd be fine. But it's every single attack, and so his tiny arena is just coated in fire most of the time. And with Melina, it's 2 attacks, mainly. I don't mind her input, read, drink, punish, because I know it exists, and I know it's a drink punish, and I just have to be smart enough to not do it close enough to her. But I do mind Waterfowl Dance, because if you're very close to her and she starts it, the only way to dodge it is very, very precise movements. You can dodge it if you're very close to her. It's just, it's precise and it's hard, and even practicing it a lot, I was super uncomfortable with wanting to do it on this playthrough because I haven't done it in a while. And then phase 2, she has the rock clone dance, which has the range of the whole fucking arena. You cannot stand under her, because if you try to go under her, she has a giant flowing pillar of rot beneath her, and that will kill you. And they do insane damage on each hit. At least with Waterfowl Dance, you know, one hit isn't a lot. She just swings 23 times. But these things, that is 7 attacks, and each one is like... It was like half or more of my health per hit with this setup. And this setup is, what, 42 vigor and pretty solid equipment? So aside from that stuff, I think Melina is a fine fight, even with her healing and whatnot. The healing's a little unfortunate for people that like to use shields, because it makes their shields a lot worse. She heals through the shield, through blocking. Yay! But, we beat her, we did it, and we got the cool lore from it. Yay! Hate Moog more than Melina, always cheese as hard as I can. Again, Moog is a perfectly fine, if not even good fight, up until the point that he starts pissing blood everywhere in phase 2. I'll even accept knee heal, and all that. I'm even perfectly fine with that. I got no problems with that. Well, unless I'm doing a challenge run, but it compounds how bad phase 2 is. That's the only negative of that. I gotta double check if I picked up a certain weapon or not. I'm not sure if I forgot it. I do believe I had forgotten it. Well, I got something to go pick up in Lindell then before we continue. Most things are fine until they piss blood. You know what? That's fair. You're not wrong. Okay, let's see. Oh, here it is, Erdtree Sanctuary. It's all the way at the top for some reason. The last of the legendary armaments. Yep, I forgot to grab it when we were in Lindell. There is one more legendary armament for me to grab before we've collected it all. Okay, it should be this direction. Knee heal. The problem I have with that is just that Moog then heals a rather large amount of HP. Which I guess if he had like a proper phase 2, then that would also heal him a rather large amount of HP, so it's not that big a deal. But it wears on your resources while also restoring his resources, so it is a little rough. It only becomes bad the second that you realize phase 2 is, bleed everywhere. Bleed everywhere. Oh, there it is. I went farther than I thought. I do believe I have to walk up that. Because you can see, right there, an item on the giant spear. Jump, nerd. The Bolt of Grand Saxe. Which is itself a spear. Spear whittled from the weapon wielded by Grand Saxe, one of the legendary armaments. A great ancient dragon, Grand Saxe once rained calamity upon the royal capital, the only time in historical record that Lanedel's walls have fallen. This marked the dawn of the war against the ancient dragons. With the unique skill Ancient Lightning Spear, imbue the armament with the ancient dragon's red lightning and then throw it as a spear. So yeah, this giant thing right here. Big ol' spear. Ow. Damn, good shot, asshole. What a shot, man. Owie. Look at it. It's in my arm. Right in my funny bone. Honestly, it was kind of impressive. It was kind of impressive. What a shot. He hates the Bolt of Grand Saxe, apparently. Okay. Next thing to do. As you can see, we got a great rune from Melina. However, it is currently unactivated. We must seek the isolated divine tower. Where do you think that is, chat? Where do you think the isolated divine tower might be on our big ol' map? Because we haven't been there yet. It's right there. Can't you see it? It's right there, guys. I'm pointing right at it. Honestly. Anyway, if you're wondering where the isolated divine tower is, right here. See, it even has the shape of a divine tower. It's there the whole time. Right off the coast. Question is, how do we get there? What do you think, chat? Do you know how to get there? All we have to do is jump really good. But the important place is where we jump, obviously. Oh. Anyway, there it is. We Naruto run over the water. Yeah, you're right. We just got to get our chakra right. So remember this place that we could have, remember, we could teleport here from a waygate way down here in the Tower of Return. which is called that because it lets you go back to the royal capital. And it takes you here to the Divine Bridge. And if you do not recall, at the Divine Bridge, there was a waygate that was inactive. Now, it is active. And now we are here at the isolated Divine Tower. Why is Melania's Divine Tower so far away from all the others? Weird. By the way, check that out over there. Look at that. That's the next place we're going to be going to. Way over here. It's actually on the map. We've been there before. Let's restore power to this great rune. Take a look at Melania's great rune. The great rune of the Shard-bearer Melania. The blessings of this half-rotted rune reduce the healing power of the flask of crimson tears. And yet, due to the infusion of Melania's spirit of resistance, attacks made immediately after receiving damage will partially recover HP. Melania's daughter to Queen Marika and Radagon, and her great rune should have been the most sacred of all. So, let me point out a couple things here. Number one, her great rune, you can see the butterflies all over it, the Aeonian butterflies all over it, because it has been infested by rot. It turns you into Bloodborne, essentially. This is exactly how Bloodborne works, where if you take damage, you have a little bit of time to recover some gray health, at the cost of reducing the healing of your Flask of Crimson Tears. And the final thing it says, her great rune should have been the most sacred of all, which is very interesting to me, that Melania's great rune was considered that important, that she would have inherited quite the important great rune until it got kind of coated in rot. Basically proving Melania was a big deal, like a really, really, really big deal. She was born like a super prodigy at everything she tried to succeed at. Even blinded, she became an undefeated swordsman. She was able to defeat the person considered the most powerful of the demigods, Radon, and for realsies defeat him to the point where he is no longer in contention of anything. She had inherited naturally just a super divine great rune. She had easily the best chance of bringing about a new age if she wanted to. But the reason why Lindell didn't fall, the reason why Morgott was still around, the reason why Melania didn't march is because she didn't want any of that for herself. She wanted her brother to be the leader. She felt that he was the most qualified to be leader. She felt that she was nothing more than a powerful swordsman that was going to work for the sake of her brother. and was probably very, very enamored with her brother, considering that he spent the vast majority of his time in his life trying desperately to find a cure for the rot that plagued her body, and was doing everything he could, and even offered her things, figured out the unalloyed gold to stop the meddling of outer gods, and in order to stave things off like the rot. Did things that none of the other gods could have done. The Golden Order, Marika, Radagon, etc., the other demigods, none of them found out how to do any of this. But Mikola did, and Melina thought that definitely proves he's the most suited to become a leader. While she's powerful on the battlefield, she probably doesn't consider herself quite so powerful in the realm of politics or decision-making. But she thought that combining her strength with her brother's strengths would create a glorious new age. He should sit on the throne, she should defend it. Ooh, before I go to this foot of the forge, I have someone to talk to. Gotta go back to Landell real quick. Then I'll have someone else to talk to. Got a couple side quests to talk to real quick. Remember, we got a couple more seed beds. Let's go smear them all over the poo-poo eater's face. He'll be like, it tastes like corn. Stop that. Bad flower. Don't dance game me. We were all thinking it. How have you been in the time I've been gone?
Curse you, Golden Order. One day, you'll get what's coming.
Well, he sounds like he's doing fine. Here. Have this.
Unleash it upon them! A curse blessings to war!
Damn. Sounded like he loved it. Sheesh. And we get a mending rune. The mending rune of the fell curse. A loathsome rune gestated by the Dung Eater, used to restore the fractured Elden ring when brandished by an Elden Lord. The reviled curse will last eternally, and the world's children, grandchildren, and every generation hence will be its pustules. If order is defiled entirely, defilement is defilement no more, and for every curse, a cursed blessing. And there you go. The Dung Eater is now fully dead. Let me reload the area real quick. Because by reloading the area, we get his set, the Omen Helm, Armor, Gauntlets, and Greaves. A malformed helm resembling an omen with its horns cut off. Worn by the Dung Eater, its form is a vision of the landscape of his mind and of his appearance as he wished to see it. The heart of an omen without the body to match. Could there be any crueler existence? What does it matter then if the curse claims it all? Malformed armor resembling an omen with its horns cut off, worn by the Dung Eater. The heavy, sun-shaped medallion represents both the guidance he once saw and the ring to which it will one day lead. And that's the rest of it. So, here's what I think is going on with the Dung Eater. Is that, and if we took a look at the Seabed curses, if you remember when we did that, and the Seabed curse itself looked like it had many little horns growing inside of it. The Dung Eater is a massive, massive proponent for the omens, sympathizer for the omens. That's why he wears a suit of armor with a bunch of omen horns on it. As it said, a man with the heart of an omen, but without the body to match. And his thing is to curse and defile the lineages of those he gets his hands on, and the defiled curse should be something akin to the omens themselves, more than likely forced omen status upon them. Or perhaps something similar, at least. Because as it says in the mending rune there, if order is defiled entirely, then defilement is defilement no more. The omens will no longer be considered defiled creatures when everyone is defiled. So he's like a super heavy extremist in the stop killing omens camp. He's also insane, hence his torture and murder of lots of people. So, like, let's not say that he's doing anything particularly good here. Maybe there's like a tinge of good in his heart, or maybe he's just using that as justification for the evil things he does. But at the end of the day, what he wants is for the Golden Order to stop being able to harass others for their quote-unquote defiled appearance. At least, that's how I like to interpret what's going on here. Now, let's see. I need to go... I think the Artist Shack might be the closest. We need to make a stop in Liurnia. The fact he eats dung was likely the first clue he was nuts. He just really likes to recycle. Help keep the lands between green. Recycle your waste. In the most literal of fashions. Hey guys, look. There's stuff down there. There's like little houses and stuff. Well, we gotta go down there and check stuff out. After all, there could be lots of fun things down there. Let's see. I gotta double check how to get down here. The 4 R's. Recycle, reuse, renew. There it is. And just re. Jarberg. I'm not sure if there's something wrong with my L3 or if the game is just kind of unresponsive sometimes when you're on torrent, but it really didn't want to let me off torrent's body there. For some reason. All right. Grab this Grace and let's look around. Jarburg, huh? Clearly, this is the place to be. This is the scene for all your cracked pot theories. And I'm full of crackpot theories. If it wasn't obvious enough by the time that we've gotten this far in the lore. Hello, friend.
Hello, Cos. What are you doing here? I didn't think anyone knew about this place. Except us Jars. Ah. Are you going to be the new potentate?
What the fuck is a potentate? What do you think? What's a potentate, chat? Anybody? Anyone know? Well, you know what? We'll just say sure.
Gosh. Truly. That's wonderful news. It's not easy being potentate, though. I know. Show me your hands. It's just a little test, cuz. To see if you've got the right stuff.
My hands. Here you go. My horrible human
Your skin
hands.
Isn't so smooth, is it? You need slick, slidey hands to be potentate, you know? I'm sorry, cuz. But I don't think you've got what it takes. What a shame.
Well, I'm sorry for swinging a sword around a lot and getting calluses on my fingers. Jeez. Well, now I feel dejected.
Don't look so glum, cuz. We can still chat. Potentate or not. Come back and visit me. When you can.
Oh, okay.
Don't look so... We can still come back and visit...
At least we can still chat, potentate or not. Now, this is very, very important to everyone. Do not kill any Jars in Jarburg if you do not want to break the Little Jars quest line. Surprisingly enough, the Little Jar is not very happy if you destroy the Jars in Jarburg. The living Jars, that is. These guys. Don't worry, they won't attack you or anything. They're just chilling. They're just enjoying flowers and stuff, so you're good. Treat them like a good neighbor, and they'll treat you like a good neighbor. This is also a really good place for getting a lot of crafting materials, especially some of the rarer stuff is all over the place here. And you get a bunch of jars and pots and stuff to work with, if you ever want to make use of them. Well, none of those were amazing. I guess you can get to this area pretty early in the game if you want to. Here, let's reload the area real quick. And then let's go talk to him again.
Oh! Hello again, cuz. I'm happy you came back.
Oh,
I have good tidings for you, cuz. Have you noticed the rare flowers growing in this village? I asked the villagers if you could pick some of them, and they said you'd be very welcome.
Yay! How nice.
Go on, Kaz. You really should pick some of our flowers. Who knows? They might be of some use. Go on, Kaz.
Let's reload the area again. We need more dialogue. More! And like you said, there's a lot of relatively rare flowers in the area. Not the Roa fruit, but there's a lot of good stuff to get if you craft things.
Ah, hello again.
Hello.
Say, Kaz, have you met Uncle Alexander?
I have.
He used to live here with us, but then he left to be a champion. I asked to go with him, but he said, the path of champions must be trod alone. So heroic, right? I miss him, though. If you see him, you should ask him to teach you how to fight, cuz he's big and tough and strong.
Mm-hmm. Big strong.
Uncle Alexander said he won't be back again.
My home is of the past, and the past, as they say, is a different country.
I suppose that's part of being a warrior, isn't it? So, please don't tell anyone, cuz. But I'm actually a warrior jar as well. One day, I'll be just like Uncle Alexander. Then I'll have to leave the village to become a champion. Uncle Alexander won't come back here again.
My home is of the past, and the past, as they say.
I love the little impression. My home is of the past, and the past, as they say, is a different country. You gotta like that they did away with the pretense with the Onion Knight, big fat guy, dumb guy quest, and just said, you know what? It's a jar. It's a giant fat jar.
Ah, hello again.
Hello.
Do you know what a poacher is, cuz? They hunt us, smash us, and then take us away.
No.
This village is kept secret, so I think we're safe here. But you should be careful if you ever meet one of them, cuz I hope Uncle Alexander beats them all up first.
Poachers?
Those awful poachers. I hope Uncle Alexander beats them all up.
I do too. Poachers are bad news.
Those awful poachers.
We don't like poachers around these here parts, do we, chat? No sirree. No sirree. Do, do, do.
Oh, hello again, cuz. Have you heard? A new potentate's come to the village. I think he said his name was Dialos. He seems a little down in the dumps, but his hands, as smooth as silk.
Do you like that?
I don't know. I'm a little disappointed, actually. Even though good Sir Dialos has a wonderful suit of armor, he says he isn't a warrior. And since he's a coward, he won't be fighting anymore. His smooth and silky hands feel nice when he pats us. But I wish we had a potentate big and strong like you. Dialos's smooth and silky hands feel nice when he pats us. But I wish we had a potentate big and strong like you.
So, this is kind of a dig at Dialos here. Because the only way he could have smooth and silky hands, while also wearing a suit of armor and being a quote-unquote warrior, is by never really engaging in combat. There's also a reason why Dialos, when he went to the Volcano Manor, didn't engage in combat, and why he was working for the Volcano Manor didn't engage in combat. It's because Dialos is a coward. Dialos' hands are smooth and silky to the touch because he doesn't work. He's never really been one to improve himself and become strong. Our hands are calloused and rough and all that because we're out there killing gods. So, despite Dialos being a good potentate, as has been described, it is kind of an insult to his capabilities as a warrior. Or a knight, or whatever he wants to call himself.
Dialos' moon, but I wish...
Now, where the heck is Dialos? He should be here. Somewhere. If we're at the end of that dialogue, he should be around. After all, I didn't kill him or anything before. Oh, there he is.
Aren't you full of beans? No wonder you're covered in muck.
There he is. What are you doing here?
Oh, my friend, it's been far too long. I have to say you caught me at a rather low point. But as you see, I've put all that behind me. Left the Volcano Manor, forging my own path now, making my own choices. Even a fool like me can look after some simple jars. Do you pity me? Well, don't. I feel like for the first time in my life, I'm on the straight and narrow. A fool I may be, but I can look after some simple jars. Do you pity me? Well, don't. I feel like for the first time in my life, I'm on the straight and narrow.
Well, there you go. Hey, Dialos found his calling. He just needs to be in like a nursery caretaker. That's all. With his smooth, silky hands, he can take good care of these jars. You know what? Good for him. If he doesn't have, you know, what it takes to be a knight or anything, taking care of others, that's a fine profession, too. Well done. It's a good thing nothing bad will happen. Right, guys?
Dialos' moon, but I wish...
The pop patter, yeah, that's his job. Break the jars in front of him to assert dominance, that would be bad.
A fool I'm... Do you pity me? Do you pity me?
Okay, let's do a big teleport then. And then do a big teleport back and see if that advances the quest line. It should.
But I wish we...
What if I super reload?
Dialos' but I wish...
Well, never mind then. Maybe the poachers just ain't gonna come. Or I may need to advance the main quest a little bit more. That's fine. For the time being, we'll leave it at that. Dialos shall be caretaker of the jars. And what a fine job he does. Very good indeed. Now, when last we were here, we had left the last little bit of this area, the mountaintops of the giants, for the future. Well, it is now the future. Isn't there a summon sign that shows up here? Could have sworn there was. Maybe it's at the other entry point. Let me take a quick double check. Yeah, there should be a summon sign for this boss. I'll try the other entry point. Oh, wait, it might be inside. You're right. There it is. Alexander, the warrior jar, is here to help. We will not have torrent available by doing this, which does make the fight harder, and it's going to make the boss scale a little bit by having a cooperator. But Alexander! Yeah! Let's go, bro. We've got this. There's no way this flaming nerd could defeat us. Especially because I'm bringing Tish with us, too. Hell yeah. The whole party's here. Gotcha roll. Ow. So, there's two things to note about this fire giant, and that is, if you look right here at this, his leg is braced on this side only from an old injury. And if you knock that brace off, you see that his leg is pretty chonked. And if you look at his face, that he just ripped that fire out of, or I should say his torso, there's a giant face there. As was said before, when I pointed it out, the face of the fire giant's fell god, essentially. Big stomp. Gotcha roll. And hey, look! Red hair. Prepare for him to do the most metal thing possible. God damn. Look, ears under his arms. He rips off his own leg and offers it up as kindling. For the fell god of the fire giants that lives on within each of their chests. He is now awokened. Oh, it's a lot of fire. Bro is exploding all over the place. Uh-oh. Tish! No! Get him, Alexander. Whoopsie. Alexander? Where the hell is he? The big elbow! By God, I'm broken in half. Gotcha roll. Alexander got lost. Gotcha roll. Twin suns. That lights everything on fire. Gotcha roll. I am safe beneath his warm taint. Safe from the fire. Gotcha roll. Finish him. Oh. Hey, good job, Alexander. Good hustle out there, man. The participation trophy's in the mail. He didn't help all that much, did he? Oh, well, it's okay. Remembrance of the Fire Giant. The power of its namesake can be unlocked by the finger readers. The Fire Giant is a survivor of the war against the Giants. Upon realizing the flames of their forge would never die, Queen Marika marked him with a curse. O trifling giant, mayest thou tend thy flame for eternity. Oh yeah, Tish did big damage. Alexander did no damage. But you know what? Just having Alexander there made us feel better, didn't it? I sure hope Uncle Alexander keeps all those poachers away. Anyway, this is pretty impressive. Alexander fought his way all the way up here and left his summon sign to help others. And he, confronted the fire giant, I guess, in his own world. Well done, Alexander. Well done. Reminder, he did forge himself in the fires of Mount Gelmir, the lava itself, when last we were seeing him. So he should be pretty good against fire-based attacks. By the way, I know a lot of people have done it. Don't jump into the kiln. The kiln with the smoldering flames down there. Notice the flames are not active for the most part, but they're smoldering. They never go out. That's the thing about this flame. All it needs is the proper kindling. Let's talk with Melina.
I have long observed the lands between. This world is in dire need of repair and death. Indiscriminate. Are you prepared to commit a cardinal sin?
I don't know.
Very well. Tell me when you are fully prepared. Are you ready to commit a cardinal sin?
Let us jump into the mouth of sin.
Very well. Let my hand rest upon you. For but a moment.
I love to sin. By the way, notice her hands already have some burn marks on them. And so Melina fulfills her purpose.
Erd tree, you shall burn. Burn for the sake of the new Lord. Thank you for guiding me here. The one who walks alongside flame shall one day meet the road of destined death. Goodbye.